Cowboy Colt's fiery feedback. Ouch. Howdy, folks. Welcome back to another episode of Cowboy Colt's fiery feedback. And I wanted to give a quick shout out to all 26 of my subscribers. If it wasn't for you, I wouldn't be here doing this. All right. Now, I know you guys were wondering, why didn't I post a video last week? Well, it's simple. I'll tell you. I was out doing a survival thing with my best buddy Gage. We went out to the bush, slept on a pile of grass, built some shelters out of wood, and lived off the land for a day or two. But my trip was cut a little short, and I'll get into that here in a minute. But today we have a different sauce that I picked up. I have done a similar sauce. That one Reaper sauce that I have is by the same company. This one is Screaming Scorpion Death Sauce XXX. Obviously it's made out of scorpion peppers. Now I'm not sure if scorpion pepper is different than Trinidad scorpion, but I'm gonna say it's probably the same. And from my past experiences, Trinidad scorpion tends to be a lot spicier than Reaper, which is a little bit backwards. Now let's get into it. Now back to the story of my survival trip there. So me and my buddy Gage, we went out last Saturday, and we got out there pretty late, so we didn't have much time to set up our camp and stuff, but we got it all set up and all situated, and we stayed the night out there. The first night we didn't make it to the second night, but as ooh-wee, that smells good. Very vinegary, almost fruity. Ooh, that's got some instant punch. Somebody just punched me in the tongue. All right, I'll get back to my story here. I have a couple of cheddar Cheez-Its, a couple Tostitos, some jalapeno chippies, just so we could build up, you know. And for dessert, another wasp. For dessert, got a little chalky granola bar and a hard marshmallow. Marshmallows, when they're hard, are my favorite, nice and chewy. And of course, the secret ingredient. Okay, back to my story as I'm eating. So we got out there first night. It was dark. We decided to go fishing, and nothing happened. So then we cooked up some MREs, some ready to go, just add water meal. Ate that, had supper, went and washed our dishes in the creek, and then that sauce ain't bad. It's got good flavor. It's not like too salty, not too vinegary. You can really taste the peppers in it. It's pretty good. Now, continuing on with the story, I'm gonna eat another Cheez-It. While we were out there the first night, we couldn't sleep, right? We're out in the bush, coyotes are howling, and we're not used to that, right? So it was a little spooky, and I'd say we probably only got maybe 3 hours of sleep, but I hung up my phone from the top of the little shelter, and we watched a couple podcasts, which I know it's not really camping, but it was fun, something to pass the time. Anyways, next day comes around, we realize we're pretty well all out of water, so we went and replenished our water. And then I got Gage to make up his own fishing rod, because I already had one of these, right? I carved this out of wood the first year I went out there on a survival trip, and this is what we used to catch fish, right? It's just a little hand line, right? You let it out, put a hook on the end, way out there. Works really good, really good. And anyways, Gage made his the next morning after we went and replaned our water, and then onto the Tostito or whatever it's called. Then we went out fishing. Went out there, got out there about 10 o'clock, because it's about a kilometer, maybe a kilometer and a half hike to the river from where our camp spot is. That's good. Very tomatoey. I like that. 4 calories per 1 teaspoon. Well, we're getting fat together. Anyways, yeah, we went fishing. Fished out there for about 4 hours, and I took my little butane camp stovey thing out there and a couple pans and some fish fry ingredients just in case we did catch something. Sure enough, caught a big old fish, and then dispatched it properly, of course. And a couple hours went by. It was about lunchtime, so then we had a good old fish fry for lunch. Ate the fish. It was a bit spicy because it was we battered it in like Cajun batter and stuff like that. That pairs up good with that chip because it's almost like salsa. It's almost like salsa. Sorry. Yeah. Then after we had lunch, we fished for another maybe an hour. And it's funny because where we were fishing is off a dock, because where we go out camping is on my wife's family's land. So it's very like secluded area out there. And there's a dock out in the middle of the water. So then Gage and I swam out there and we were fishing off of that, right? It gives you a lot of extra distance so you could get out there really deep. And not 5 minutes into the first bit that we were there in the morning fishing, and Gage was like, have you ever actually caught a fish using one of these? I was like, yeah, man. Last year I caught probably 4 or 5 fish off of this. And he's like, no way. That's crazy. And then, sure enough, 5 minutes later, here comes that fish, the one that we ended up eating for lunch, right? Anyways, after we had lunch, we weren't catching anything else. Well, that's a big old globber, right? Man, on this jalapeno cheddar chip, it really kicks it up a bit, makes it taste a lot like salsa. This is not at all as spicy as I thought it would be. So this is going to be a pretty tame episode. Anyways, getting to the exciting part of the whole trip. We went back to our camp just to hang out, and I propped up my phone, watched some survival videos while we were just hanging out. We went for a little hike, and a few hours passed by, and then we decided let's go out fishing again, see if we could catch some supper, right? If not, we had another MRE just in case, just add water. And then went out there fishing. We were fishing for maybe 2 hours. Actually, no. We were fishing for the first half hour, and then sure enough, Gage gets a fish. So we're both happy. And he caught it on his. It's something else when you make your own fishing rod. Of course, it would have been cooler if we made our own fishing line, but you know, still, it was a success, right? So he got to catch his own fish on this little thing. I caught a fish, you know, successful trip. And then we're fishing for a bit because, you know, a few hours had gone by and we're not catching nothing, right? And I was like, well, you know, around 6, 8 o'clock, 7, 8 o'clock at night is like prime time for fishing. Fish typically usually start jumping like crazy. Not there, right? It was prime time, nothing was jumping, and Gage was kind of struggling with his new fishing rod. He was having a hard time. Sometimes it gets caught up and doesn't fully get all the way out there, right? And then it'll snag up and come shooting back at you, the hook, right? Now the hook he was using had 3 prongs on the bottom, and then yeah, so I did that, caught like snagged half cast and then shot straight back, shot over his shoulder, wrapped all the way around his body, and there's a wasp on my phone. Anyways, whipped around, caught him right in the back of the leg, right in the soft tissue, and that's a bit of an issue. It went through his shorts, into his leg, and went deep enough that the barb was stuck in his leg. Because here in Alberta, you don't have to take the barbs off your hooks. Now I'm probably going to, just in case that ever happens to me and I'm stuck out there by myself. That goes good. That actually goes, that's that wasp. That goes pretty good on that granola bar. The flavor makes it taste like there's spicy cranberries in the granola bar, which is weird because it's a chalky chip. Anyways, carrying on. I shoot around into his leg, through his shorts. He starts freaking out a little bit. He was mad about it. And then he goes, dude, it's in my leg. I'm like, what is? He's like, the hook. I was like just barely. He's like, I don't know, man. Can you have a look at it? So I look at it. I'm like a mechanic working on a car. I get down on my back, pull open his pant legs, his short leg a little bit. Sure enough, it's through there, right? It's like this, right? So then I'm like looking at it. I'm like, uh-oh, what am I gonna do? And then he's like, well, if you can get it out nice and clean without hurting me too bad, then do that for me, pal. I was like, you got it, buddy. So I'm looking at it. It's in there. It's in there good, right? Like the hook is like this, right? If not more curled than that. And so let's say it's like this, right? It's stuck right up until like this point in his leg. There's barely any curved portion hanging out. So what I did was like, I'm sorry there, good buddy. We're gonna have to cut you open. He starts sweating. He's turning white. He's about to faint. He's like, whoa, 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 whoa. He's like, I'm not feeling good. I'm like, dude, if you die on me, we gotta swim across this friggin' body of water, then get to land, and then I gotta drag your sorry behind all the way back to camp. This isn't gonna turn out well for either one of us. So he's like, well, if you can get it out. So I grab my pliers, grab the end of it, go to try and twist it out. I put backwards pressure on it so that the barb would, didn't work. There was a lot of meat coming with it, or it wanted to come with it, right? And I was like, buddy, he's like, we should get a professional. I was like, you're right. We should get a professional to do this. So, needless to say, it was about 8 o'clock the second night. Earlier that day when we went on a hike, we even beefed up our bedding with extra branches and extra bundles of grass. Put a bit of work into it. Didn't even get to use it. Anyways, before this situation happened, him and I were both daydreaming about eating cheeseburgers and eating candy and marshmallows, and so both of us kind of had that feeling in the back of our heads that maybe we wanted to go home. He wanted to go home so bad he had to go throw a fish hook in the back of his leg, my friend. Silly. But what I did was I took my pliers, snipped off all the other hooks so that I was just the one. I freed it up from his shorts. Didn't even have to cut his shorts open like I said I was gonna. And then he was independent enough. He swam back to shore with me, took all of our stuff, and he hiked up the hill. I hiked all the way back to the camp, met him at the top of the hill, got as much stuff as I could from camp, met him up there, and then when I drove him back to town, and since he only stays like 5 minutes away from my house, he just got in his car, went, got his girlfriend to take him. His girlfriend's a nurse, so she knew what she was doing. So we had to cut it a bit short, which was okay because we got our burgers. And it's funny because once we got back to town, we didn't go to emergency first. We went and got burgers first. I don't know if you can see what I'm doing here. That's not chocolate. Mama didn't raise no coward. Oh. Ooh. It's raining hot sauce. So anyways, it was a good trip. We had lots of fun. Like I said, we had to cut it a bit short. It was emergency. So then his girlfriend sent me the video of the doctor taking it out after he froze it, which is why he didn't want me to do it, because it was too painful, obviously. So the doctor, what he did the same thing I did. He tried to pull it out the back way. Didn't work. Wasn't going nowhere. So then what he did was he pulled it, pushed it back through his leg. So he ended up with 2 holes in his leg for the price of 1. And then it was all fine and dandy. He was back to normal. A little tender, but the last thing he said about that trip was, let's not go fishing next time. I said, you got it, good buddy. It's a little risky. Anyways, that sauce was not bad. I actually enjoyed that. And I hope you enjoyed that story. And once again, I apologize, but that is the reason I didn't put out a video last week. This has been another episode of Cowboy Colt's Fiery Feedback. I do recommend you guys should try the scorpion sauce at some point. But that's enough out of me. I'll see you guys next week. You like my cutting board? Ha! That was another episode of Cowboy Colt's Fiery Feedback. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And please put it in the comments what you want to see me eat next. Any sauce recommendations or any challenge recommendations. Sooner or later, I will be eating the 1 chip challenge. But you guys got to do me a favor. Hit that like button and please subscribe. If you enjoyed today's episode, let me know. We'll see you guys in the next one. Toodles.